Hi friends, good morning. In this video, let's we discussed about camt.110 investigation request. Before going to this topic, I have provided the payment business analyst training for student and working professional. In case you would like to join the course, please approach for me. What are the content available in this document? Scope of the message, structure of the message, example business scenario, how we need to handle for the production issue. These are the details available in this document. Investigation message. What is the payment investigation message? Take the example, sender bank send the money to receiver bank. In case the receiver bank generate the pack 002, your amount is credited, your amount is processed, your amount is settlement. Like that, they send the response to the sender bank. Then only the sender bank maybe understand whether the amount is flowing properly to one bank or one bank to another bank or not. In this scenario, suppose sender bank never get the response from the receiver bank. So sender bank need to be investigate the transaction status because they might be never get the pack 002 message. On the time they raise for the camt.110, they investigate about the pack 002 message. What is happening for the particular transaction? Like that. Whenever your message flow is fall down on the time, any of the bank, either the center bank, instructing agent, instructed agent, receiver bank, any bank, okay, they raise the camt.110 message. It's normal payment, it's processing with the status, that is not a problem. In case in your transaction flow any kind of unclear or problematic situation happen on the time, any bank in your transaction flow, they raise the camt.110 message and get the response. What is the limitation of the camt.110? You can able to initiate the camt.110 only for the single transaction. You cannot able to investigate the multiple transaction at the same time. So take the example, you need to check your transaction status of in your bulk file. You generate for the camt.110, but it should not be worked out because each and every transaction we need to raise out for the individual camt.110 investigation request. So it's never given the response of the multiple transaction. It's always given the response as a single transaction. That you need to remember it. Go with this function flow, you can able to understand very easily. We know plan to send the money to Rahul. We know from India, Rahul from Dubai. So what are the banks should be involved? We know hold the account in SB India. SB India transfer the money to ICICI Bank. After ICICI Bank send the money to FAB. Here the NASTO Vasto account relationship should be involved. After FAB should be transfer the money to Citibank. Then finally it's reached out for the Rahul. So in this scenario, every day, okay, debtor bank need to be understand the status of the payment because any problem in the status of the payment that need to be communicated to the customer side also. So debtor bank need to be understand the status of the payment. So once the amount should be reached out for that creditor bank, the creditor bank given the pack 002 message to the debtor bank. Your amount is credited, accepted, ACCP, ACSC, those kind of status it should be provided. In case in our scenario, creditor bank never send the pack 002 message to debtor bank. What will be happen? The debtor bank might be not aware of it, the transaction status state. What will be happen to the creditor bank? So debtor bank send the investigation message as a 110. What is the status of my payment? After what they happen, the creditor bank given the response to the 110. So whenever your message flow should be stopped, any bank need to be investigate for the particular message. On the time they raise for the camt.110 message. Camt.110 message, it should be raised for any part of the payment. Even the debtor bank should be raised for the camt.110 request. Instructing agent also raise the camt.110 request. Instructed agent also raise camt.110 request. Creditor bank also raise for camt.110 request. Because why I am say that each and every bank, they need to understand the status of the payment. What will be happen for the particular payment? Why the payment is not received? Need some clarification for the particular payment. Otherwise I need to trace or research the request. So these are the scenario it should be happen. So the reason I will tell that camt.110 can able to initiate for the any bank in this payment chain. Whenever the transaction message response you are not get it on the time, the camt.001 it should be raised from this any of the bank in your payment chain. Debtor bank can able to raise, instructing agent can able to raise, instructed agent bank they can able to raise, and creditor agent they can able to raise this camt.110 request message. Once they raise the request, damn sure they can able to get the camt.110 response also. See, I will tell that some example. Okay, what is the purpose of the camt.110? In case the payment is not received, they need to understand, right? Someone transfer the payment, they need to understand what is the status of the payment. So whenever the payment is not received on that time, they raise the camt.110. Any of the pack 002 or pack 004, any of the message, okay, you cannot able to get the response or status on the time they inquiry about the particular message on the time they raise for the camt.110. You need some clarification about the transaction on the time you raise for the camt.110. Trace and research request also they use it, and provide investigation result, status update, reason explanation, additional information. These are all the scenario they raise for the camt.110 request. So go with this business scenario. Suppose I plan to transfer the money. We know plan to transfer the money to Rahul. In this scenario, debtor agent is SB India, instructing agent is ICICI Bank, instructed agent is a FAB, creditor bank is a Citibank UAE. See here the instructing agent send the money to instructed agent. It should be flow for the pack 008. After the instructed agent send the payment status report to that instructing agent pack 002. This amount is credited in my Nastro account. I got this account. Those kind of the confirmation they can for the pack 002 message. In case in this payment chain, pack 002 is not generated for the instructed agent. The instructed agent raised the request of camt.110. What is the status of my payment? So once the enquiry should be sent for the instructing agent, after instructed agent do the enquiry, they given the response in the camt.110 itself. So that is the scenario. Okay, what is the business scope? Whenever your payment is stuck from anywhere, payment investigation, that is a scope. You need a clarification about your settlement, whether my settlement is happen or not. That you might be not aware of it. On the time you raise for the camt.110. Missing transaction inquiry. Something I missed out my transaction inquiry. It should be stuck in some bank in your payment chain. You need to raise for the camt.110. Exception handling. Mostly they raise for the camt.110. Transaction trace. Because you need to trace your transaction. Who are all initiate the transaction, either the debtor bank or instructing agent or instructed agent, any bank, okay, they need to track the transaction. Reconciliation support. In case sometime the customer complained it, sender send the money to receiver, the transaction should be flow properly, and the creditor bank credit the money to beneficiary side. But beneficiary informed to that debtor, it seems I never get money. Some problem in the transactions. So what they happen on the time, the debtor go and approach for the debtor agent bank. I need to investigate about the particular transaction. On the time they use for the camt.110. Because they need some investigation. Either your payment chain PAX 002 is not generated, PAX 004 is not generated, any of the messages response is not generated. On the time also you can able to initiate for the camt.110 investigation request. So go with some real scenario. See problem 1, missing pack 002. As I said already, right, creditor bank never send the packs 002 message to debtor bank. So what will be happen? The debtor bank cannot able to understand the transaction status because they won't get for the pack 002. So in this scenario, the debtor bank should be raised for the camt.110. What is the status of my transaction? They need to understand. So the reason they are raising for that camt.110. Whenever your pack 002 is missing, on the time they raise for the camt.110. And duplicate statement in case some timeout happen in your payment. Either it's debited but it's not credited. Some internal problem in your payment flow. Otherwise sometime the entry happen for the duplicately in the settlement system. Anything happen, okay, that is a technical problem. On the time they're using for the camt.110, they ask that what is the problem of the particular transaction, why the duplication should be happen. So these kind of question they can able to understand via these kind of answer, they can able to get it via camt.110. Payment stuck in queues. See, I don't have the sufficient liquidity in my transaction flow. Debtor agent send the money to instructing agent. Instructing agent plan to send the money to instructed agent. But instructing agent, they don't have a sufficient liquidity in their Vasto account. What will be happen? The transaction should be stopped because it's never ever move forward. So on the time, the debtor bank send the investigation. Why it should be happen? Something is a liquidity issue. The debtor bank can able to understand the transaction, it should be stopped for the liquidity issue. So on the time they are using for that camt.110 message. In case you try to create the wrong beneficiary, in case your transaction flow you mentioned the wrong beneficiary, you need an investigation, okay, whether I mentioned the correct beneficiary in my correct exact beneficiary in my transaction or not. On the time the debtor side required some investigation, on the time the debtor agent bank should be raised for the camt.110. So these are all the scenario they raise for the camt.110 in the business prospect. These are the live business environment scenarios. Okay, what are the blocks available in my camt.110? Investigation request. It's a main investigation request information. Who will create the investigation? That you need to understand, right? Suppose one bank send the investigation to another bank. Who is trigger the investigation? Who is responsible for the particular investigation? Assigner, assignee. Those kind of information should be available for the investigation request. Investigation details, you can able to see that entire transaction details. Because why I'm saying that, why you raise for the investigation camt.110, you need to refer for another message, right? So you record for the another message, original message ID, original end-to-end ID, original UTR number. Those all the information is required, okay? What is your transaction information, original instruction ID, original message ID, and original UTR number, and what are the parties should be involved for the particular transaction. So all the transaction related information should be available for the investigation data tag. Supplementary data, it should be the non-standard format whenever they are using for the very less only name, envelope, like that. See, this is the sample structure of the message. Please look on that very carefully. See, first I will send the investigation request, okay? Original investigation request. This is the request, okay? This is my camt.110 message ID, creation date and time. So first I will raise for the one camt.110 message. After what will be happen, that camt.110 message, it's refer for that in your original transaction message, either your PAX 8 or PAX 9, like that. Because then only you can able to get the status, right? Which message you initiated, that message need to be referred for the camt.110. So the reason they mentioned the original message ID as a PAX 008, and all the information, okay, what is the instruction ID, what is the end-to-end ID, what is the tax ID, these are all the information they mention from here, okay. Those information comes under the underlying transaction, because which transaction you need to refer for the particular investigation, that particular investigation message ID, original transaction ID and UTR number, all those things you need to mention from here. After you can able to get the transaction status, see that either you do the investigation, you get the response. This is the ACTC response, and they given the response code also. So each and every transaction, okay, I will tell you, each and every transaction you record for the response and response code also. So supplementary data, you can able to see that additional information, okay. See, ACTC accepted technical validations, ACCP accepted customer profile, ACSC settlement in progress, ACSC settlement completed, PDNG pending for your transaction, rejected, your transaction is rejected, or your camt.110 message is rejected. Why they stamp as these many reason code? Because whenever you initiate the investigation, you need to understand your transaction status. So that reason they given the response like that, okay. What is the response and error code, both it should be come in this message. This is the XML tag level explanation. First, every message it start as a document tag. After you raise the investigation response, okay, in this container you can able to see the group header, message ID, creation date and time, assignment, ID, assigner. Assigner means who initiate the investigation. Suppose SBI plan to initiate the investigation to ICICI Bank. Assigner is a SBI Bank because who initiate the investigation, that is comes under the assigner. Who get the investigation, that is come as a assignee. Don't forget, assigner is a initiate the investigation. Assignee is the response the investigation. After it's come as a cash, creditor, original investigation request, because you need to understand what is the original investigation request. Underlying payment information, you can able to see that original group information, original message ID, original message ID name and ID, transaction, end-to-end ID. These are all the information you can able to see that. Investigation response, status and reason code. Both you got it. Status, it should become as a ACSE, ACSP, pending, rejected. Response, you can able to get that NARR, AC01, like that. Additional information, supplementary information, envelope. Okay, that it should be okay. Why this camt.110 is required? Suppose the payment is not received, you need to send for the investigation request. Your pack 002 response is missing, you need to send for the investigation for the clarification. Settlement is delayed, Q investigation is required. Duplicate transaction, you need to verify your transaction. Wrong beneficiary, you need to investigate your beneficiary details. Whether what is the beneficiary account number, beneficiary belong to which bank, like that. Reconciliation mismatch, the clarification they are using for the camt.110 message. Network timeout, transaction tracing purpose they are using for the camt.110 message. Unknown payment status they use for the inquiry purpose. These are the business problem they are using. Okay. What is a common problem happen for the camt.110 message? I will tell you one thing. Whenever your original message ID is missed out, because you need to refer for your original transaction, right? Suppose you initiate the 110 investigation request for PAX 008 transaction. You record for the exact PAX 008 original message ID. Then only you can able to raise the camt.110 request. So missing your original transaction ID, invalid case ID, some name, sometimes it's come as a incorrect transaction status also. Duplicate message ID, same message ID, it should be passed for the 2 or 3 messages. Missing supplementary, you no need to bother about, because YM say that right now they never do that any inquiry for the supplementary data. And what are the things the camt.110 does not handle? Payment initiation, you know very well, payment initiation, it should be handled only for the PAN 001. Payment process, it should be handled only for the PAC 008. All the settlement execution, that it should be handled for the settlement engine. Customer statement, CAMT 53 and 54. Return process, PAC 004. Whenever the beneficiary bank send the return to the sender bank, you never get a PAC 004. On the time you can able to do the inquiry of you need to send the investigation request of MT10 camt110, you got the response. And the direct status update PAC 002. Whenever the PAC 002 is not triggered, on the space you can able to generate for the camt110 investigation message. Thanks for watching this video. Kindly subscribe my channel and provide your